A record-breaking day for Manchester United. A longest unbeaten run away from home ever. Mason Greenwood becomes the highest goal-scoring Premier League teenager for Manchester United. This season, Man United have broken the record for most points won from a losing position on 31, and Bruno Fernandes equals Frank Lampard's midfield goal-scoring record for a single season. Top four is all but secured, 12 points clear with 4 games remaining. It was another amazing comeback. There were some great performances, a lot to digest. Hit that like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the Football Terrace. Here we go. What a way to start your Sunday Premier League fix. A very entertaining first half. Villa equal to Manchester United in that first 45 minutes. Deserved their lead after some shoddy defending really from the team. Mason Greenwood, Fred, and then McTominay giving the ball away cheaply. Lindelof not clearing his lines, and then Traore scoring a majestic goal. I mean, it was drippy. It was so good. And Man United lacked their clinical edge. And you went in at halftime thinking, is this away record going to be undone? Are we going to end up fighting out for second and third now with Chelsea? Are we going to get dragged into this race? We've got a very difficult week ahead with 2 more games to play in the next 4 days. It's unbelievable. But it was something that's become characteristic with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United. The second half performance was sensational. The bit between our teeth in the second half was great. Paul Pogba leading by example again, winning a well-deserved penalty after just twining up, twisting and confusing Douglas Luiz till he made a stupid ill-timed challenge. Bruno steps up, goal number 27, equaling Frank Lampard's single-season goal-scoring record for a Premier League midfielder. And then we really turned the screw. A wonderful bit of play again between Bruno and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who picks up another assist, his most creative season yet as a fullback. He plays it in, and Mason Greenwood, he turned Tyrone Mings inside. I still think Mings is looking for him. He's still looking for him now. Scores a world-class goal and becomes the highest goal-scoring teenager in the Premier League for Manchester United, overtaking Wayne Rooney's 15-goal haul as a teenager for the club. That is now 16 goals in the Premier League for him. Mason Greenwood is the highest goal-scoring teenager in all of the top 4 leagues in Europe this season as well. And this young man was written off just a few short weeks ago. And then United held strong, played well, defended well, good goalkeeping from Henderson when needed. And we came together. Villa really put it on Manchester United. We kept on hitting them on the break, and eventually it paid off. I thought Marcus Rashford had a really poor game overall, to be honest, but that moment of quality when needed, a wonderful cross from him, and Edison Cavani continues his amazing run of goal-scoring form now that he's found full match fitness at Manchester United. I, for one, was so wrong about Edison Cavani when we signed him. I thought it was going to be Falcao all over again, a Woodward panic buy, not needed by Manchester United. And I am so glad and so thankful to be humbled and shut up, because he is, without doubt, one of the best signings in the post-Fergie era, along with Bruno Fernandes and AWB to boot. And a lot of Ollie's signings have stepped up and really delivered for the football club. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. And we put the game to bed. We win 3-1. Could have been 4-5 really in the end. We were the better team. You know, we had 18 attempts on goal today. We had more chances. We had more of the ball. Just overall an excellent performance, I feel, from Manchester United. And it takes the pressure away. It takes the pressure away from the Leicester and the Liverpool games. Of course, we want to win them. But we are now on 70 points. We are 12 points clear of 5th place with 4 games to go. If West Ham United don't win today, they draw, they lose, top 4 is 100% secured for Manchester United. That means we can relax it. We want to come second, but you know what? We've got to play 2 games in 2 days. If we draw with Leicester and lose to Liverpool, I'm going to be gutted as a Man United fan, but it will not change the course of our season. Ollie was absolutely bang on to play his strongest possible team today, get the 3 points, and rotate later on down the line. That's what he did. There was a lot of criticism in the starting lineup before the game kicked off, and he got it absolutely spot on. Record-breaking away form. Record-breaking returns from going a goal down. Now, you don't want to go a goal down, but you want to know your team can bounce back. I felt confident we could. record-breaking teenage goal scorer in Mason Greenwood, record-breaking midfield goal scorer in Bruno Fernandes. This is nice. This is pretty. We want to move on from here, though, as Man United and go on to winning Premier Leagues, challenging for Champions Leagues, winning the domestic cups more frequently. But the base is there. And whether it's under Ollie or the person that takes over from him in future, you can see a base has been built. And what's amazing about this base being built, it's been done with one of the worst ownerships in Premier League history. So it is a testament to some of the people behind the scenes at Man United, the Ollies of this world, that we are in this position with everything else that's going on. You know, all the bad things these owners are doing. And I just think they deserve a large element of credit for that. Top four secured 2 seasons running now for the first time since Fergie. We've got a good opportunity at winning a European trophy in just under 3 weeks' time. We've got lots of super talented players here. Cavani balling, Paul Pogba happy, seemingly looking to stay. And as I've said, whether you want Ollie to be the guy or not, it's irrelevant. The base and a foundation has been created for somebody new to hopefully take this club forward. And I was really happy with that performance today. Of course, it isn't perfect. I thought Rashford had a bit of a poor day. Really sloppy play especially from McFred and Lindelof that led to the goal. Of course, nothing was perfect. Nothing ever is going to be perfect. But really impressed again with the mentality that this team and club showed. We're going to start going to calls. We've got Cameron, we've got KJ, we've got Jonny waiting backstage. We're going to share the line for you to come on and speak to us very soon as well. But you've got an opportunity to go into the prize draw to win a football shirt of your choice. Guess my man of the match. Just super chat who you think my man of the match is. And we'll go through that. When we get the panel one later, we are going to be talking about the penalties today. Both 4 ones that went for Man United and the ones that we maybe got away with. I want to speak about Mason Greenwood and how good he is, and about the rotation issues that are going to be facing Manchester United very, very soon. Let's do some super chats first. Mansour Ahmed says, good win for United, but how long will they rely on comebacks? When will they take control of games and dominate? Do you know what, Mansour? I would say, I don't think we would. I felt we did dominate the first half. We just weren't clinical enough. We were a little bit, we just didn't, the final ball wasn't quite there. People have been saying that question all season. How sustainable is going a goal behind and coming back? Well, we've done it all year. That proves it's been sustainable. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not once or twice we've done this. We've actually gone a goal behind more often this season than gone a goal up. And we're second in the league. And if you actually look at a lot of the games that we haven't won, that's not what's happened. A lot of games we've drawn and lost, we've scored first in. So, yeah, look, it's a mentality thing that needs to improve. But for me, the whole thing about dominating games from front to back, I don't know if it really works like that. We were all yesterday gushing over a brilliant performance from Chelsea against Man City. They didn't dominate the whole game. They dominated the second half. These things happen. Will Man United, do we need a good summer? Do we need to improve the squad? Do we need better than Scott and McTominay in central midfield? Yes. Trust me, you throw Declan Rice into the middle, we don't concede that first goal today. You bring Jadon Sancho in, we score more goals. These things are a prerequisite for me. If we make the right signing. Samuel here says, Mason in Rooney's time would have had his legs chopped off. It's a really interesting thing you bring up there. Yeah, I was watching Match of the Day last night where they debated the top 10 centre-backs of all time. And Shearer was saying how, like the Tony Adams of this world, they would kick lumps out of you, kick you up in the air, etc. And I thought to myself, maybe that's why we feel like defenders used to be better, because they used to really get away with kicking and hurting strikers and attackers, which you no longer do. And because you've taken that physicality away, that aggression away, maybe it's easier now for attackers. Thus, we think defenders are worse. Plus, we play with high lines now like we never used to, which means defenders are exposed to more one-on-one defending like never before. Never used to happen. So it was easier when you defend more compact. Maybe that's it. Maybe we think defending's got worse, but it's just the setup of the game that's different. Worth a debate one day. Terry, if we sort out our CDM, centre-back and right wing position, we are going places. And that's a question I want to pose to everyone today. If we bring in a good centre-back cover, a Declan Rice and Lander Sancho, can this Man United team challenge the Chelseas and Man Cities next season in the run-in for a Premier League title? Get your comments in now. I want to hear from all of you. I want to hear from you all right now. We had a few more super chats here. This one says United need to win on Tuesday and lose on Thursday is what Monster. Of course you want to say that, bro. Listen, I think we're going to rest massively for Leicester. and go full out to beat Liverpool, historical rivals. And listen, I'm not saying we want to lose against Leicester. We don't want to lose against Leicester. But there may be this element of if Leicester were to win and then we have our strongest team and beat Liverpool, we can stop Liverpool from getting in the Champions League. So it's not what I want, but every cloud, silver lining and all that jazz. Trap King here says left foot, right foot. He does what he wants. That's Mason Greenwood, bro. Mason Greenwood. Let me just say this about him here. He was written off a few weeks ago, and I am calling you out. Man's like Gem and Co. Oh, what's he done this season? The young man had a horrible summer and early part of the season with the passing of a very close friend, media and the Sun going after him, and just being young and developing. But that is now 8 goal contributions in his last 10 games. I said he would find form at the back end of the season. Ollie has managed him impeccably, kept him away from the limelight when he was struggling in his personal life, and he's come good in the end. He truly, truly has. And I'm just so happy to see him playing so well at this moment in time. We're going to start going to your calls now. We're going to get Jonny on in a minute. We're going to get Cameron on in a minute. But first up, it's Man Like Elite KJ. I'm also going to share the link on the Discord server. It's in the StreamYard call-in link section on the Football Terrace content. I've shared that right now with you if you want to phone up and if you want to have your say. Keep those super chats coming. Guess my man of the match to go into the prize draw. But KJ's with me now. Another comeback. Another win. Give me your thoughts, bro.
We love to see it. Obviously, they went to my hometown, got the 3 points and bounced, didn't it? We love to see that, people, you know what I'm saying? Birmingham always delivering what you need when you need it, you know what I'm saying? But yes, very good game in the end. The goal in itself was against the run of play. We were the better team in the first half, I believe, but we allowed them to have impetus in the game. We let them back into the game by not clearing our corners properly, not clearing the ball, not being strong on the ball, and they get their goal. Mason Greenwood needs to clear that ball so much quicker. Bruno Fernandes was there next to him, and he could have just behoofed it out somewhere else. Fede McTominay just showing us why we going forward, if we want to challenge, we cannot have those two together in there. That was just horrendous communication from both of them to get together. It's supposed to be a partnership. We've had 30, 40, 50 games on the your belt together. Just not good enough. And then Lindelof, this guy, man, he gets away with it, always gets away with it, and it annoys me. And not him per se, but the people that always defend Victor Lindelof, there's always some nuts reason why it's not his fault. Today, he's just, again, weak. Weak as per usual. Not good enough, not strong enough. He has his games where he's amazing. Yeah, I get that. But you can't do that. If you're going to make that tackle, make it. Yeah. Clear that ball. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get that goes rose head. You know what I'm saying? That was just and then later on in the game, same thing. Just strolling on the ball. Gets bodied by Davis. If we're going to go forward, we can't have such a soft you playing at centre-back. We can't. It needs to end. But with that out of the way, hey, listen, what did I tell you about my star boy Mason, bro? Everyone doubting him, fam. Everyone had got something to say. Oh, he's the fake money Mace. Oh, he's whack, Wetwood, all these different things. Yeah, and trying out you, David, you knobhead, fam. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I love Mason Greenwood. He's got such a high ceiling. The way my man just turned and put that button bins was amazing. Like today, he was on it. He was hungry. You can see he's getting back to his best. Like he made some of our best opportunities through shots, through runs, through passes. He made a great crossfield pass to Luke Shaw that didn't come off in the end due to Paul Pogba getting tackled.
Yeah.
But this kid, love this kid. Absolutely love this kid. And we can look forward to see how he grows. And he will be our number 9. He'll be a deadly number 9, a lethal number 9. He'll be clinical. That's for sure. Cavani staying around is only a good thing. Potentially a Sancho coming in is only a good thing. These people don't need to worry about Mason. People say, but if Sancho comes in, what about Mason Greenwood? His development. Don't worry about him. He's 19. He's 19, playing out of position. If anything, Sancho helps him because he gets more time up front and fills in on the right when he needs to. Jadon Sancho delivering him balls, feeding him. Come on now. Don't worry about Mason. His development is going where he needs to go. And I'm just looking forward to where this boy's going to go, man. Absolutely love the kid.
Yeah, mate, I couldn't agree with you more on Mason Greenwood. And I'm just so glad that fair amount of the turmoil in his life has kind of been put past him, and he's learned to manage that, and he's back to doing what he does best. He's playing football. There was so much talk early on in the season. Does he have an attitude problem? Is he really dedicated? And I'm so glad that Ollie protected him. I'm so glad the club protected him. And look, we've got loads of things wrong with our football club right now, but we shouldn't sometimes allow that to overshadow the things that we're doing well. And the development and protection of Mason Greenwood is going brilliantly. And as I said, highest goal scoring teenager for Man United in the Premier League era. And we've had a lot of teenagers play for us.
Yeah, no coincidence. There is no coincidence that is the case. Look who he's beat: Cristiano Ronaldo, Marcus Rashford, Wayne Rooney. Look at all these man. Look at the names that he's beat to that record. It's a sign. I don't care. It's a sign. You don't do that willy-nilly. Even all the youth players. Sorry, Tony, even all the youth players who have come on and burst onto the scene on the purple patches, they don't break those kind of records because you have to be elite. You don't see no Nketiah. You don't see no Nketiahs doing that. You don't see none of these man them doing that. You have to be elite.
I saw Latimus Prime. I'm calling you out. He put a poll out in the game asking who was better, Pepe or Greenwood. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why are people even having these conversations? One, he's a kid, right? You should be comparing him to a man that's nearly drawing his pension football-wise. You know what I mean? First and foremost, which I thought was a madness. But he's such good quality. Do you know what, Cage? We're going to get you on for the panel chats a little bit later. We'll go into this in a lot more detail. Top man. Stay with the Football Terrace, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do single calls. Then the panel are coming out. And there's so many things to discuss with you today. Greenwood's position in the team. Should Rashford be dropped when everybody's fit? We want to go through that. What are we going to do for these next 2 games? What next for Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? It's been confirmed this afternoon that Ollie now has the best points per game record of any manager post Fergie in the Premier League, and his trajectory is on the way up. So for everyone that wants him out, his trajectory is going up. I want your thoughts and feelings on that as well, because we want to hear from you. Because remember, it's my show. No, it's not. It's my stream, but it's your show. I got my own saying the wrong way around. Next, we're going to go to man like Jonny. Jonny's here with us. Jonny, your sound's all messed up. You sound like an alien, bro. I don't know what that is. Let's do it again. No. It's like you literally sound like an alien, bro. Yeah, go out, come back in again. Go out and come back in again. I'm going to go to my guy, Cameron's with us now. What you saying, bro?
Whoa. What was that? I'm good, man. I'm good.
He sounded like a Dalek. He sounded like a Dalek. Yeah, have you ever seen Doctor Who? Like, do you know what I mean? Oh, wow. Yeah, bro. I mean, give me your thoughts on today's performance.
It was great, man. Like, honestly, it's funny because like we're just that team now. When we talk about being behind, I'm like, 1-0 is not United being behind anymore. I was chill. I was like, yo, okay, this is fine. And basically because I think 15 minutes in, we had 83% possession. We had something like 7 shots on target already. You're just like, all right, like the pipe will burst eventually. No team can withstand that much pressure. I don't care what anybody says. Paul Pogba, wow, head and shoulders just above everybody on the pitch. Like just watching him play out there was so fun. Every time he got the ball, he basically just bossed whoever was in front of him. I can't remember who was trying to defend him. It was Traore, and Traore going backwards, and Pogba puts it through one leg back, moves, and it was just fluid. He was so nice to watch play today. I'm not going to go into Greenwood too much because, KJ said everything that needed to be said. But the one thing I will say is I will look forward to, for him to be our number 9 is when he makes that run that Cavani made at the end of the game. That run we don't see from any of our number 9s, period. The one that Rashford picked him out on. Like, as soon as Rashford got the ball, Cavani had started running. It was perfect timing. Rashford obviously knowing where he's going to be because he plays in those positions, but he had a poor game. The one thing I think you said earlier that is really important to touch on, if we had a proper CDM, that first goal never happens. Plain and simple. What are Fred and Scott both doing in that position? And then neither of them knowing what to do. Yes, Lindelof is weak and he got destroyed on that one play with Davis, but the way he scrambled to get back just from that mistake, I know he didn't get a proper tackle in. He was going to fill space where he should have been, and then the ball was misplaced. So he had to, like, this is what people sometimes don't see with him because, yes, he should have been stronger. So I try not to come down on him all the time because you ever write a proper CDM, you fix the squad in that sense, at least for now. You get a better center back. Of course, we'd be better, but You get up CDM and you avoid those issues. You protect those guys a bit more. And the one person we really got to talk about that, I think I got to pull up the stats because Statman Dave put out some stats on this guy. He's going to be team of the season. Luke Shaw, 100% tackles, 85% pass accuracy, 19 final third passes, 4 ball recoveries, 4 attempted takeouts, 3 passes in the box, 3 chances created, 2 successful takeouts, 2 shots, 1 on target. Whoo! Luke Shaw, what a player. Like, this guy was dead. This guy was playing with Mourinho's brain 2 years ago or whatever. We have a player of the season at left back. We have a player of the season in the midfield. We have so many pieces coming together, and Ollie's making it all work. I look forward to next year. I just hope we do the right thing in the summer and we go and get Sancho and we get a CDM. I don't think we'll get a center back. I think Bailly was the center back signing. Yeah. And that's okay for now. That's okay for now. Like, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, we know we don't have a limited money. We know the owners aren't going to spend their money. Just make the right signings piece by piece by piece is what Ollie's been doing. He fixed the defense with Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire. He then went and got the creator in Bruno. He then went and got his striker. He went and got his backup players in Terrace and Donny van de Beek, so we didn't feel like if somebody goes down, we're in trouble. Just keep getting him his targets, and we will contend next year. That's how I see it.
There we go. Great. Bro, we'll get you back on with the panel real soon. Top man Cameron, thank you very much indeed. Hit that like and share button, people. Just hit it right now. Currently, YouTube, we're on 387 likes. Facebook, 200 likes, but Facebook's closing in and catching up. Make sure you stay in front, YouTube. We've won every single challenge versus Facebook so far, so make sure you're getting that done. We're going to retry Jonny here. Send me the link, Walad. Thank you very much. Safe. Safe's always calling me out these days. Man like Jonny's here. What are you saying?
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, there we go. There we go, mate.
Right, you know me, I don't beat around the bush. I thought today was average to poor. Don't think it was shit. It wasn't shit. It was average to poor. In a nutshell, if you take this game, this has been the story of our season so far. We play poor, average or shit, and we still collect 3 points. Like, it's that question you asked, Terry. Is it sustainable? And I keep asking myself that question. Apparently, it is sustainable because he keeps getting 3 points. I'm just not convinced by this team under Ollie. I don't know if it's the players and I don't know if it's Ollie. I'm inclined to think it's Ollie based on what's happened at Chelsea with Tuchel and what Lampard did with a good squad and how shit it was. I'm not convinced at all. I'm not screaming Ollie out. I thought Wan-Bissaka for that tackle today, that sliding tackle literally got us 3 points. And for that tackle alone, he gets man at match for me. Thought Luke Shaw was good. I thought Greenwood, listen, I'm sick of this slander that I'm seeing on Twitter for Mason Greenwood. I'm sick of it. Like, how many goals does this young kid have to score before people start respecting him? Like, please put some respect on his name. Is 19? 16 goals in the league. And I'm not saying this now to dig Rashford out, but Rashford's had 10 league goals, but we have to factor into that he's not being fully fit, yeah? But Greenwood, 16 league goals, he's 19. I'm telling you, with the right guidance, and I don't believe that will be Ollie. Hate me all you want. I don't think that's Ollie. With the right guidance, Greenwood will go to Ballon d'Or. I think he's really that good. Rashford, right? We've got to talk about Rashford. I'm sick of him being protected, and I'm going to say how it is. Rashford, with the build-up play, I can't remember the last time he put in a solid 90-minute performance, and I'm sick of it, right? Today, this is on Ollie. Greenwood played well. He scored the goal. Beautiful. I'm not saying he was brilliant. Greenwood wasn't brilliant today. He was decent. But Rashford's been poor. I gave him a 4 out of 10, right? And then I knocked him up to 5 for the assist. But factoring in his injury, why is he taking Greenwood off and leaving Rashford on? Rashford was poor. And like, it does this all the time. And it's decisions like this, right, which is a running theme on why I have no confidence in Ollie. Like, players that play shit, take them off. Players that are doing well, keep them on. Another point, whether it's McTominay today and it's Fred next game or Fred last game and it's the shit, they need to get binned, both of them. Now, Fred was okay today. McTominay were poor. Next game, Fred will be poor. McTominay, and I'm sick of them both. I don't want to hear talk about Jadon Sancho, Harry Kane, Aaron, none of them. We need a world-class centre-back and we need a world-class CDM. Otherwise, honestly, I'm not interested in any of it.
When it comes to the attacking, the one thing I would say, I think that Greenwood was taken off and not Rashford, because I think Greenwood's going to start the next game and Rashford's not. I think that I get your point. He's done that a lot this season. I think it was done in that regard. When everybody's fit, forget this week because it's an anomaly because we're playing so many games. When it comes to picking the front three now, who starts in your opinion? Who should be starting?
If everyone's fully fit, right, it would be Cavani. Can't leave Cavani out. You just can't leave him out. For me on the right would be Greenwood. And I would have said Martial before, but I'm really liking seeing Pogba on the left. I think he's been really effective and very influential. So based on that was that last 5 or 6 games, I think he's been really effective. And I'd put Pogba there. And I like Martial. I love Martial, but Pogba in that final third on the left hand side, he is dangerous. But listen, people are saying, like some comment section say, I don't hate, like, I need to get this out now. I don't hate Ollie. It's not personal, yeah? I'm sure he's a lovely husband, father, uncle, great like that. I am judging Ollie as a manager like Jose, like Louis van Gaal, like Moyes. His legendary status does not come into it because that clouds your judgment, right? I judge him purely as a manager. I don't hate the man at all. I just don't think, in my opinion, without being abusive or horrible towards him, I don't think he's good enough to take Man United to a title. That's my opinion. I don't hate the man. Stop saying I hate him. I don't hate him.
You're entitled. You're entitled to give it, mate. I want to get you back on with the panel a little bit later.
No problem, mate. No problem.
Stay backstage for us. We're going to be going through some of the things you spoke about in a bit more detail, and I want to do it with them rather than now. So viewers, stay. Sorry, Johnny. So viewers, stay with us. Johnny's going to be back. Cam's going to be back. Elite KJ is going to be back. We're going to go to some more of your. Look at the opinions here. You've got Johnny the Goat, followed by Johnny the Clown. Literally, they were one after the other in terms of comments here. It's what we are at the Football Terrace. No echo chambers. Next up, my guy Brian, all the way from the United States of America. Welcome back, mate. What do you want to say?
Oh man, this Manchester United team is such a Jekyll and Hyde side in so many ways. I remember not that long ago, like being on the terrace and having conversations with you and a lot of the other panelists about how the ability for Manchester United to come back after going down had seemingly gone out the window. And now that has come back into the DNA of the team, which is always really good to see, to where we have confidence now as a side, like knowing that even if our team does go behind, that we have enough belief and ability in the team to turn results around, which I credit to Ollie, because it didn't exist when he wasn't the manager in a lot of ways, not to this extent. And even looking at the record that they have on the road this season is absolutely insane. I mean, all credit to the players, credit to the manager, like credit to everyone for the way that they have been performing this season. If they were able to flip some of those draws into wins this season, and that's the difference between being a team getting into the Champions League and being a team contending for a title. If they were able to turn some of those draws into wins, we'd be talking some serious title contention this season.
And I've already started working on a bit of content that's coming out soon that focuses on that. The difference between us and City this year is it's been 5 draws. There's 5 draws they've had as wins, and that's the if you look at something if you take 5 of our draws away and you put them in as wins, that's them extra 10 points that puts us pretty much level. And it's how we improve on that. Most people would say it's not going to be the system because Ollie is what he is. The coaching staff are there. You throw a Jadon Sancho and a proper CDM and maybe another centre back into the mix. Can we generate another 10, 15 points by this stage next season? I don't see why that's inconceivable. We've got one of the best defensive records, one of the best goal scoring records, one of the best sort of the lowest in the league in terms of loss rate. It's there. It's just whether or not the club can deliver the players and then us maintain things to be sustainable. I wanted to get your opinion quickly on Mason Greenwood and what he's been doing for us.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's been so typical of Manchester United fans because we've been so wounded over the past few years to be really hot and cold with our players. I think it's time for us to just accept Mason Greenwood for what he is, which is a phenomenal footballer. He's been absolutely incredible. Not all season, but when we've needed him to, he's stepped up. And his form from now into the end of the season will go a long way in determining what Manchester United end up with in terms of league position finish and trophies come the end of the year when it comes to the Europa League final as well. So I don't have enough ways I can praise him. And again, all credit goes to Ollie for the way that he's managed Greenwood through the difficulties that he's had this year as well. We got some really steady pieces in this team. and some pieces that aren't so steady and need to be replaced. And if we can nail those down in the summer, we will have a serious squad going into next season.
Mate, 100%, 100%. Listen, Brian, we'll speak to you again soon, my guy. Thanks for calling in, mate. Really appreciate it, buddy. Take care of yourself. Panel coming really soon, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Cam, KJ, Prime, Jonny. We're going to do a few more of your calls first. We're going to get on the show now. Man like Abs is with me. What you saying, buddy?
What's up, big man? How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good after that comeback and win. I feel, what's the word I would look for? I feel top of the world after it. I actually feel amazing. It's a great feel. I get to enjoy the rest of the football on the Sunday, bit of match of the day and everything else. So, yeah, I'm really good, mate. What did you make of the display today from Manchester United?
Yeah, I don't know what people are talking about. We were in control of the game. The stats say it. It's just that in certain phases in the game, the ball breaks down in midfield because of Scott and Fred, which we all know. But the general control of the game, we had control of it. So I thought wasn't a Jonny's my man, but I think he goes overboard. At the end of the day, what do you want Ollie to do? We got control of the game. We've had 28 shots, 14 on target, something like that. So it was a good game. Right now, we're going to the end of the season. It's all about points. It's not about playing beautiful brand of football. It's just about getting the points.
Yeah, no, I kind of understand that. And I think for me, I agree with you. I was frustrated to be 1-0 down. I thought that Villa were equal to us in the first half in terms of overall quality, but I didn't feel like we'd been dominated, or I felt we were a little bit unlucky to be 1-0 down, really. And for all the bad defending, the shot was just unbelievable. Yeah. Nobody, even Messi, doesn't have the right to score from that angle. Does that make sense? So there was an element of fortune to it in that way, that the lad scored probably the best goal he's ever going to score in his entire career. But we bounced back again. And what do you think about the record? Some people are downplaying the records today. The away record, Mason's record. Bruno's now the joint highest goal scorer midfielder in the history of the Premier League. Do you think Man United fans should take these, more points won from losing positions than anybody else and everything else? Should Man United fans be holding on to these achievements and right, it's a great foundation, buy the right players in the summer and we can progress? Or should they just be ignored as irrelevant because they're not winning Premier Leagues? Where do you stand on that?
At the end of the day, I've always said to Man United fans need to be realistic with the climate we're in now, and we should just enjoy the ride. Obviously, next season, Ollie's expectation and judgment is going to go up higher because at the end of the day, it will be his third season. But I feel like Man United fans just need to relax and just see what's going on. We can see progress. At the end of the day, if we couldn't see progress, I can understand why people is at Ollie's neck. I just feel like people just need to relax a bit and just enjoy it.
Mate, the just enjoying it element, I couldn't agree more with. There's some, do you know what I mean? It does make me laugh. People say, football is just about entertainment for me, but then they deep it and it's all about I'm like, is it about entertainment or is it about winning? I get a bit, for me, it's all about winning. So when you have games like today, the whole going behind and coming back to win, I actually have to sell you. If I could pick a way of winning a football match, it would be going behind and coming back. It's my favorite. Yeah, that is entertainment in itself, because Fergie was so good at winning. I used to love it, especially not against the big teams. When we played the lesser teams, if we went a goal down, it perked me up. I was like, right, now I'm really involved, because it was always like, we're going to win. It's going to be a walk in the park, and I hated it. It's one of the reasons why. It's controversial opinion, but that peak Barcelona team of a few years back with Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta, I found it boring because the game was competitive. What they did was amazing, beautiful, legendary. But people say, I watch football for entertainment. It's not entertaining seeing one team be so dominant over another. That isn't it's like when you watch boxing. If you watch a boxing fight and one guy is just so much better than his opponent, the fight isn't entertaining. You want to watch it and go, who's going to win? And that for me is why I kind of like a little bit of that. But Abs, listen, my guy, thank you.
One thing, I just wanted to clear up something people need to understand about Rashford and why Ollie's not going to drop him. Because in an element of an 11-a-side team, you need someone that's going to be direct and has got pace, and that's Rashford. So no matter if he plays shit for 70 minutes, there will be a 10-15-minute spell like today where he will just produce something. People should just go with the flow. It's the same thing with Chelsea. They've got Timo Werner and Pulisic that are direct, straight to your throw. Even Man City have Riyad Mahrez and Sterling. It's just Man United just have one person, because Greenwood is more of a technician than a direct runner to people's throats.
Mate, I listen. I understand that. I think he was He hasn't been great recently.
Yeah.
But he still comes up with some. I don't know. So I want to have this debate with the panel a little bit later. I sometimes sort of feel there's lots of players that can kind of go. I see them go through games or periods, but they pop up with a goal. They pop up with an assist. They you know, he hasn't been great. I think it's 4 goal contributions in his last 10 games. We know he's also playing injured at the same time, but still this season it's 30 goal contributions from him for club and country in 55 games. I don't think I always think it's this way with Rashford. He ain't as bad as people make him out to be.
Yeah.
I think people, they exaggerate as an example, which is unfortunate. But I do think his place in the team should come under threat in the sense of, especially if we sign Jadon Sancho and Pogba resigns, because Pogba is flying at the minute on the left-hand side. Cavani is the best we've got centrally. Greenwood, talent-wise, is better than Marcus Rashford, in my opinion. And Jadon Sancho, when he comes in, he is just going to bring a different level of quality to this team. But it will be interesting to see. But again, that's what we should want. I don't care which of the 3 plays, as long as it's the most informed 3 and the best 3, and Man United are winning. Abs, thanks for calling in, mate, and having you. Really appreciate that, my guy. We're going to bring the panel on now, ladies and gentlemen. Samuel here says, you must have loved last 3 years Liverpool then. Or you talk about the record-breaking stuff and that. Well, I always praise Liverpool for that. I think that's what you're talking about. Other than that, I don't quite know. Keep guessing who you think my man of the match is going to be. I'm going to reveal it at the end. Get your super chats in and let me know. I had one guess on that so far where they said Mason Greenwood is what Samuel says. But keep that coming in. We're going to get the panel on now to have their say. Let's get this stream. What are we on now? Look at these likes here. So Facebook, 492. YouTube 562. They're gaining on you, YouTube. You've got to hit that like button. The shares, though, you're being killed, YouTube, on shares. Facebook have shared this stream over 110 times. 110 times. YouTube just 27. So hit that share button now. Put it into your WhatsApp groups. Send it to your friends. Put it on your Facebook timeline. Put it on your Twitter timeline. And encourage people to come along and have their say. Let's get the panel on now. I'm looking forward to this. Lots to debate. Let's go, people. Afternoon, one and all.
Hello.
And I need to first of all go to Prime here. Prime, why are you running polls asking if Pepe is better than Greenwood?
Because I was having a conversation about it in DMs with someone.
Well,
That's not a serious question, though, is it?
Serious. Second question.
It does answer the question.
Hang on. Second question. Sorry. Why so serious, son? Like, why are you? We're not in court, bro. It's just a joke. Like, relax.
Oh no, it's because some dickheads coming from me on Twitter. But
Oh, please. Okay.
I was having a private conversation about the Greenwood Pepe thing, and I said Greenwood is better than Pepe, but the Arsenal fan backs Pepe. So I just said I put the poll out on Twitter to see what people actually think.
Oh, okay, there we go.
I wouldn't say too much right now.
Yeah, but I to be honest, I'm actually curious, so that's why I just put it up.
I was curious what people think. Honestly, I would be shocked if more than 1 in 50 people thought Pepe was better. And even then, that 1 in 50 person is being biased. Like, I can't imagine anybody, even though as true as Gooners that would ever think and feel about that. But, you know what? It was a good win today. A good win for Manchester United. I think the real encouraging point, as most of us picked up on all your fan cams and things, were where we sit in the league now. 70 points. 12 points clear of West Ham. You know, if West Ham win today, we're still not 100% safe, but we're going to make the top 4. It looks like we're going to make the top 4. Now, if West Ham drop points today or lose or draw their game after that, Man United make it into the Champions League, which is a positive.
Yeah, and there's also 4 points from 4 points from 4 games, and top 2. Second place is secure for Manchester United as well. So we're in a good position. We're in a good spot. This win was vital for us to cement where we are in top 4. We're not going to celebrate like it's the Premier League, but for where we have been in the last how many years, doing back-to-back Champions League qualification through the league is only a good thing. It's only a good thing. It's only a good sign, and we can hopefully kick on and go forward from there. If we was dropping off and sinking like a rock in water, people would be upset. People would be like saying, "Oh, he's not good enough. The players are crap." Da, 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 da. But now that we're in a position where we can build off, I don't see. I understand the style of play isn't what people want. I understand that the manager may not be what they want or some of the players. But if you actually look at it as a club, we're in, and as a team, I say not say club because screw the pagans, but as a team, we're in a good spot to build and go further. And you gotta at least acknowledge that and be like, all right, cool, let's see where this goes. Even if you feel like Ollie and the players aren't good enough.
I like this version of you, KJ. Not the version yesterday where you're like, we're in a second place battle.
All right, Cam. Yesterday we was in that battle, but today we no longer are. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
The day has changed.
I hear what you're saying. I think, I'm trying to. Everyone knows my thoughts on Ollie. I'm still the jury for me is still massively out as to whether or not he can deliver us a league title or a Champions League. But at the same time, we all know our club's being run so poorly. I'd rather a man like Ollie on the inside fighting for the club than someone that maybe doesn't have the same deep-rooted love. I know what we all want. I know there's this part of us that kind of wants Ollie to, be in a press conference and almost like he drags Joel Glazer out and he's kidnapped him, and there Joel and Malcolm or whatever his name is. They're tied up. They've been beaten for like a week. And he's like, these guys, we want him to kind of do something heroic where it's like, yes, Ollie, you've got our back. That isn't actually going to fix Manchester United. It's just going to make him, that's a metaphor. But even if he did that just verbally, that's going to make him lose his job. And it's going to deter other managers in future from calling them out. What you often need in these circumstances is decorum and professionalism on the outside. And for those difficult conversations to happen in private. Imagine your boss. All right, just to put it in reverse. Imagine your boss at work criticizes you in front of all your colleagues. Does that go down well? Or is it better to have those kind of conversations in private and not in the public eye? So I get all of that, but there's definitely a base here. Whether people like it or not, a base has been built upon. We've been resilient. We score more goals. We concede less. Ollie has helped to develop players like Luke Shaw's playing above levels that we've seen from him before. Greenwood's coming on nicely. The Bruno Fernandes signing is inspired. Paul Pogba is happy again and dominating games at Manchester United. Cavani's been a revelation. There are areas to improve on, though. That's what one of the first. We're going to get to some Man United points a little bit later. I want to talk about what's needed in the summer in terms of transfers to improve this squad. I want to talk about who the starting front three should be when everybody's fit. We'll move on to that later. I want to speak about some of the incidents in today's game, though, first of all. So, Man United's penalty. A lot of debate saying it wasn't. Pogba dived. He went down easy. I want to go to Jonny first on this. This is social media. Was Pogba's penalty a penalty, in your opinion?
I believe it was, yeah. I believe it was. It came across him and he caught him. I think it was a soft penalty. I do think it was soft, but I do think I can see why it was given. I don't think it was a stone wall, but I do think it was a penalty, and I had no complaints about it being given.
Terry, how you know it was a penalty, like a stone cold one, is because you could hear Konsa yelling, like his own defender saying, "What are you doing? He wasn't going anywhere." And that, for me, that ends the conversation. Like when your own player is telling you, like, what do you like? What's wrong with you? That's it. Yeah,
it's a clear pen. It's nothing like the one before. Last time when, ironically enough, Douglas Luiz doing it on Pogba again. He loves it. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't only go for him one time. He went after him a couple of times before that. You know what I mean? Yeah, and Pogba slipped over. He got back up, and then he went full force into the back of him and caught his rear thigh. Like, if that's not a penalty, if that's soft, then bruv, I can punch you in the box then. You know what I'm saying? Like
when I saw people challenge, it shouldn't have been this. I just thought to myself, people got to realize the reason that penalty was given is because Pogba was putting so much pressure on his opponents all game. The way he was holding, there was a time in the first half where he held the ball up in the middle. And I want to say it was Douglas Luiz, and it could have been somebody different. And they were up in his back. No, it wasn't. It was Matty Cash. It was up in his back, putting pressure, and he held the ball up and took it on the inside. And
strong in there.
Yeah, you could see he was using straight. That's where Pogba was brilliant, because he has that combination of amazing technique with physicality, so he can hold people off. And he did brilliantly. Yeah, I for one, 100% agree, penalty. I think we're all in universal agreement on that one. Second point, I want to go to Prime first on this. Should Villa have been given a penalty on a Mason Greenwood handball?
I didn't watch that penalty.
in that 10-15 spell of the game. I didn't watch that part.
Okay.
Okay. I was about to say, I was about to ask you, did you watch the
I'll just
game?
be honest.
All right.
No, I did. I just didn't watch that 10-15 minutes.
Oh, okay, no, that's fair. That's
Prime
fair.
unleashing his inner Arsene Wenger there. I did not see it.
No, I can just be honest.
That's fine, mate. What did you make of it, Johnny? Did you think we were lucky to get away with that?
Yes, that in my opinion, that was a penalty. And I don't know why we got away with it, but it clearly touched his arm. And for me, it was a penalty. But listen, you some days you're lucky and some days you're not. And today, Man United were lucky. That's my opinion.
Nah, I don't think we were lucky.
What I mean is lucky to not get the penalty. Not lucky.
No, I don't think it. But the thing is, it's not a pen though. Like when you speed it up, we always complain about pens that are given when the player can't do nothing about it and the ball's whipped into them that quickly and so close that it shouldn't be a pen. So for me, I can't sit here and be like, oh no, maybe for me it wasn't a pen. If that was given to Villa, I would say that's harsh. You know what I mean? I mean, if that was given to us, I would say that's harsh because he jumps up for the ball. Douglas Luiz gets a whip on the header, and he's like 1 meter away from it. Like, what can he do? He can't do anything unless you want footballers to have no arms. Unless you want footballers to have no arms, then cool, innit? Like,
the argument is his arm was in the wrong.
If the rule of law
let's be honest, people. Who jumps like this? Who jumps like that? Who jumps like that? Really, you need your arms to gain momentum to get the height. So there's only certain places your arms can go. So I feel like if it was to be given, it would have been a harsh pen if it was going to start pen.
Yeah, go on, Cam.
Yeah, so I see both sides because like I see what Johnny's saying, like it hit his arm and it partly hit his arm because it was in an unnatural position. But KJ, the reason it wasn't given, I believe, is because he didn't have time to get his arm out of that position. Because you're right, you do have to jump and use your arms. And the first thing you should do is try and get out of the way. He had no time at all to try and get out of the way. Like the ball was boom, like he couldn't do anything. But if it was given, I wouldn't have been surprised. I would have been like, okay, his arm was in an unnatural position, but realistically, he just couldn't move it. He couldn't do anything. So that's where it's like, okay.
You know what I'd say, Terrace? It's obviously not clear because if you just look at the comment section, 50% are saying it is and 50% are saying it wasn't. So it's clear. It obviously wasn't clear.
Yeah. Do you know what I find interesting about it is it's one of those handballs that at the beginning or first half of the season was given. We conceded one opening day of the season. I know that Arsenal conceded one. They were given them left, right, and centre. This is what football fans do, though. When they were given at the beginning of the season, we all said they're harsh and they shouldn't be. The protocol gets changed, and then they stop giving them, and people are like, yeah, but they should be because we conceded one. It's like, so are they penalties or are they not penalties? And for me, if they're accidental, I don't think there should ever be I don't think ever an accidental handball should be given. And when you jump, your arms have to go up. I think it also deflected, so it kind of there was like one.
Douglas Luiz, he hit off his header.
Yeah, so
it hit off like two things. It was weird.
Yeah, so it was a header, and then it hit a leg or another part of the body, then hit the arms. I think it's difficult in those circumstances. But you're right, Johnny. I've seen and Cam. I have seen them given. There was a part of it, checking it for ages. There was like 2 minutes. The ball was in play, and I'm sitting there going, I was waiting for the commentator to say the check's over, and he didn't say it, and I started to really get worried in relation to that. But yeah, I mean, it's one of them ones that can and can't go with you. Interestingly, I want to speak about rotation and what man.
You don't want to talk about the penalty, the penalty incident with the red card.
Is that controversial?
But I had my mate who's a Villa fan. He's coming on to Midnight Vibes later today. He sent me a picture of it, and it's all blurry, and it's like it's a pen. It's a pen. He touched him. I'm just like. Come on, man. Come on.
When you watch the slow, do you know what's funny, right? When you watch slow-mos now, because of VAR as well, is it exposes diving. There was still contact, but you saw what happened. It was Watkins that ensured there was contact.
He anticipated, didn't he?
That's his second card for simulation, by the way. So I believe like that's not the first time he's got that card. So I think there's a little bit, you know how refs kind of they peg players for doing that, and you start. So he's been caught out doing that before, which is why I think he had no chance of ever getting that pen because he was barely touched. And
you know what? I'm glad he'd give him a red card because maybe now that'll put players off from doing it again. If they if they take a no tolerance attitude towards it, and I know straight off, that's going to hopefully get into players' minds going forward and think, you know what, I ain't going to do that, and hopefully that could eradicate to some degree.
Mate, I completely agree. I'm really frustrated with. I don't like diving, and VAR should be able to expose it now, because when you see someone's body at like a 45-degree angle before the contact's made, the slow mo always exposed it. I tell you, three of the worst people ever for that in my lifetime watching as a football fan: Wayne Rooney, Frank Lampard, and Harry Kane, who's still playing, does it. The amount of times before VAR, they'd get penalties and you'd watch it, and they were at that angle before the contact came in. And I just thought to myself, video refereeing should stop that. They used to make the ironic thing with the excuse of they're going down early because they're anticipating contact, they're protecting themselves. I'm like, no, but then they move their leg in the direction to ensure there's contact. Like, they're forcing it. And I'm glad Watkins was sent off. Not for him. I think he's a great young player, had a brilliant season, but it was the right decision for me. And even if it did go the other way, we'd already scored the third goal. They might, like, it wouldn't have changed the course of the game for me anyway. So I think it come at that point. I think it was a red card, and fortunate for him. Rotation's going to play a big part coming up now. There's a super chat here from Orlando Clark, who says, how does Martial get back into this team? There's also another super chat, which I can't find right now, but it says, can you speak about Maguire's injury? So Maguire looks like he's picked up a knock and an injury. And at the same time, Martial's on his way back. Rotation is going to be key. We know that. But who starts now in terms of Man United's front three when everybody is fit? KJ, who starts for you?
When everyone's fit, like fully fit. So this whole Rashford is semi unwell and not doing well. That's gone.
Yeah, everyone's fit. You got to pick. Yeah. You got a big game against Liverpool. Who are you picking in your three?
I'm going with Pogba, Cavani. Actually, Pogba, Cavani, Rashi. I know some people would pick Greenwood.
Oh, Rashford right?
No. Rashford, I know Rashford on the right isn't the best, and I prefer Greenwood over there. But what he gives in games, in terms of runs in behind, is something different. You saw today that Paul Pogba was trying to feed off that. He was trying to give Rashford the ball over the top. He was trying to get him in behind. And Cavani's not the quickest. Cavani is not the quickest. And Mason, he loves the ball to feet more than he does running behind. So we would need that.
1-0 to Everton. Have just scored Calvert-Lewin. As it stands right now, Man United are 100% guaranteed Champions League spot next year. Just a quick update on that while we're live.
But we would need that running behind. I personally believe in those games. And he again, Rashford. It's not like Rashford can't do anything when he's not playing well. You saw he got an assist. He's had goals before that's won us games. Like, he is a match winner. So as much as people love to give Rashford some stick, I would love to. I wouldn't mind seeing him start with Cavani and Pogba fully fit, because again, when's the last time we saw a fully fit Rashford?
But today, KJ, don't you agree that 87th minute assist was literally the only thing Rashford did well in the game? Other than that, he did absolutely.
In this game, yeah. But does it discount everything that he's done for the whole season? No.
This is why I'm hoping that, and I don't mean this in no disrespect towards Rashford, I'm genuinely hoping he doesn't go to the Euros. I don't want him to go for his own benefit and his own career. I want him to have the summer off, to proper relax, get his ankle sorted, his shoulder sorted, come back 100. Because I've actually forgotten what it's like to watch Rashford fully fit. I really want him to come back in August fully fit, and I think that's what I think. I'd like to see Ollie show a bit of strength and say, and just say to Rashford, "No, I'm sorry, I'm pulling rank here. You're not going."
I think Rashford's too important to what Ollie wants to do in his system. It's just that pace and power, that directness. That's all he's got. Like, that's how Ollie wants us to play football, and Rashford fits that mold perfectly. When he runs at players and such, it's just. I get why people are starting to say Greenwood, yes, but not really. It's kind of like they're just all out of position. If I would answer that question, I want Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford on the left, and Cavani through the middle. That's what I'd really want. But like the fact that Pogba doesn't stay on the left, that's another thing. Pogba doesn't stay on that left-hand side. He's all over the pitch. I think Rashford's a better fit if they're all fit.
It's an interesting one for me. Marcus Rashford today created the most amount of chances on the pitch. He created 4 goal-scoring opportunities today, including the assist that he gets. I sometimes feel with Rashford. By the way, my front three, as it stands right now, I would pick Greenwood, Pogba, Cavani, all things being equal. But with Rashford, I still feel like he's got 9 assists this season. So he's he's one behind Grealish and Son, 2 behind Kevin De Bruyne, 2 behind Bruno Fernandes, who's obviously what he is, and Harry Kane sitting there on 13. So he's been highly creative this season. I just think people with Rashford, I think they want it all the time. I think Rashford's starting to get a little bit of the Paul Pogba treatment in terms of we want goals, we want assists, we want dominance, we want great dribbling, we want every decision to be right. And I don't know. I don't think he's good enough to do that. And I don't even mean that in a disrespectful way. And what I mean even more so is who else out there in the world that we could actually sign could bring us all those things? I don't know who there is. Like literally in world football that we could sign. Who could come in and score more, create more, and dribble better than Marcus Rashford?
Well, Terry, I tweeted out over there. I said, if we sign Jadon Sancho, Rashford's going to end up being on the bench, and I don't mean squad play disrespectfully. I don't mean that disrespectfully. But I actually think anyway, Rashford would be much more productive and effective as an impact player coming on for the last half an hour. Because if Jadon Sancho comes, you're not displacing him. Cavani, you're not displacing him. So then you have one space on left. And as we've just said, Pogba would be on the left at the minute because he's too effective. So I'm like, okay, where does that leave Rashford? And I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I love Rashford, I do. But I just think, when teams are tired and Rashford's coming on for the last half an hour, you don't want Rashford running at you.
Yeah,
you don't want that.
I get that, but you can say that about Mason because Mason, when he's a lot of his goals of this season have been from off the bench. He's very effective from the bench too. Like, of course, players are going to perform better when anyone's tired. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like people just want Rashi to just be off the pitch. So he's not in the limelight. So he does not get any praise. So he can say, I see my favorite. I'm not saying you're doing this, Jonny, by the way. I'm saying there's other people. My favorite players, see, they're better than Rashford. They get to start every game. But they're not your favorite players. Ain't going to have great games every single day of the week. There were games where if Jadon Sancho...
Jonny. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Man's in trouble, bro. Man's in dugout.
you know what I'm saying? Now, there were games where say like a Jadon Sancho or Pogba or something like that is gonna have a bad game. So you're gonna have to be in bad form. So you're gonna need to put Rashford in there. I just think that we need to actually just wait until the summer comes before we have this conversation fully. Because if we sign a DM, there's no way I want Pogba on the left hand side.
Yeah, agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
drop him back.
There's no way I want it there.
100%.
Whack him back where he belongs. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's very, very important as well. I do get your point there. I think there is a lot of I want my favorite player to sort of stand out. We've seen it with Bruno. And we spoke about Bruno on this stream. He plays in this side, and I remember 2 or 3 games ago, he was getting so much ridicule because he only had 4 goal contributions in like a 14-game period, but played well, was still creating. Since then, since that moan, it's 6 goal contributions in 3 games, 3 goals and 3 assists. And he's back doing what we love in him, but he's improving again today. Ball retention, better, decision-making, better, less rash. So he's even improving in his overall game, but you still get this percentage of Man United fans who I feel like they want their favorite player to get all the attention. So they want to, I just find it a really weird, and by the way, Jonny, I'm not accusing you of that. That's not what I think you're doing.
Yeah.
That would be my main players. In relation to the rotation, though, between now and the end, I mean, I'm praying Maguire's injury isn't significant. What I'm actually hoping for, but is that it's enough that he doesn't play in the next couple of games so he actually gets a rest. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Who do you think needs the most like who would you not want to see play or at least start against Leicester? I'll go to Cam first on this one.
Rashford should sit. I've been saying it for weeks. I think he just needs a full game off. That'd be nice. I would have said Maguire as well because he's played every minute. I would have said Bruno too until he made that comment about when a man comes out and says, I used to play hundreds, thousands of minutes of football, you have to play him. Like that's an athlete, that's a competitor. You can't sit that man. I get people saying you should protect him. But if you have a motor, there's some athletes, again, Jesse Lingard's the same idea. Like some guys can just run all day. They have no problems with it. Their bodies recover. And until they start breaking, you let them play. So I would say the 2 players for sure to rest. Actually 3, sorry, because I don't want Cavani to get hurt before final. So Cavani, Rashford, and Maguire, the 3 players I wouldn't play.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I want to do a super chat quickly here. It says, Terry, if Sancho comes in, we will go to a 4-3-3. Well, that could happen if Sancho and a DM comes in.
Yeah,
If San-
DM
if
needs-
you sign
DM
Declan
needs-
Rice and Sancho, you could have Pogba and Bruno either side of the DM, and then you put Rashford back on the left. So it really depends on the summer. I think that's a really good point on there. How about yourself, Jonny? I mean, you mentioned Rashford that you want to see given a rest. Who would you want to see not involved against Leicester?
I think Bruno. I think he deserves a rest. I think I've not been his biggest fan, but one thing you can't deny with Bruno is his work rate and his work ethic. He runs and he runs and he runs, and I'd like to just top four. As it said, if Everton win this now, top four secure. Just play Van der Beek. Just give the man a fucking, excuse my language. Just give Van der Beek some meaningful minutes. You know what I mean? And let Bruno rest. He has earned it, regardless whether you like him or you loathe him. He's earned it. Who else? McTominay. I just want him put in the bin. Just put him on the scrap heap. I don't want to see him again. Just get them in the bin, please. I beg, if Ollie ever saw this video, please bring in a CDM and something. Please, I'm begging. I don't want to see them two there next year. I just don't.
Do you know what? I do get you. And look, I think we all sometimes with Scott and Fred at times have been carried away with good runs of form and good games that they've had. But we all know in our heart of hearts we need better in that position. And I think so does Ollie. That's why we're looking at CDMs and players like that. It's just like we said before, the problem we have is that when you look at our four main midfielders, including Pogba, they all have great attributes that the other one really needs to play in a double pivot. Like Matic and Pogba are the best two technically on the ball, but they don't have the same dynamism and speed at foot to move around in that area to cover the ground, so they get overrun. But the other two come in to stop us from being overrun, but they're just not good enough on the ball. And that's why Ndidi's and Declan Rice's are going to go back to transfer again. It's so important. So important.
Have people been watching Kante recently for Chelsea?
Yes.
It's like rejuvenated. It's like Kante's back. Like, that's the type of player we need at Man United. Kante, honestly, since Tuchel's come in, he's just gone back 3-4 years and he's playing brilliant. And that's what we need.
I would love a Kante-esque player.
Because Kante's been allowed, as soon as Tuchel came in, Kante's been allowed to slowly recover, because for the past about year and a half, he's just been riddled with injuries and then being rushed back to play, then forcing him to get more injuries. So he hasn't really had a run where he could just recover and get back into that world-class form.
Yeah. But as we mentioned about CD, what's interesting is Leicester. Leicester are about to sign Soumare. Which led to a lot of people suggesting there's two players linked with moves away from Leicester this summer. There's Ndidi and I've seen Tielemans linked with the move away. The fact that I don't see him signing Soumare and both those players staying. And if there's a chance,
no, they are, Terry. They are. This is what Leicester do. They buy a year in advance before they actually do something. So they had Sionchu before they sold Maguire. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't new. So I feel like Ndidi, he will stay one more season. And then when Soumare's got some time blooded in, they're about call AEMs for Ndidi, anyone. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where this is where we need to be patient as Man United fans. If Ollie has his heart set on Ndidi over Declan Rice, we may have to endure another year of McFred because we want to land the right targets. And I think that's what, but it's about what else we do. So it's that case of, we didn't, it looks like we didn't panic buy him and buy somebody else instead of Jadon Sancho. It looks like we've kept, hang on a minute. Everton nearly went 2-0 up there. Sorry. But it depends for me. Like we do need, transfers are so important this summer because we know where we are right now in the league. We look at having to rotate now. We know we're a little bit weak when we start scratching beneath the surface. Barring Jadon Sancho and sort of a CDM role, what else would you say, Cam, is a priority this summer to take our squad to that next level to make us better so we can compete?
This one's weird because I know a lot of people. I stand by. We don't need a center back if we get a CDM just yet. I would say a backup right winger. I mean, right back, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka's been great. In my opinion, he's actually getting better going forward. But there's just a point where if he gets hurt, we saw what happened when Brandon Williams came in. That wasn't it. If we lose Aaron Wan-Bissaka, like for instance, you don't have Aaron Wan-Bissaka making that tackle today, to save a goal. Like we're in such problems if he goes down. We need to get a proper backup right back that can fill in properly. Like do a job that we could be proud of. That would be the position for me.
Man at match
Yeah,
today.
but-
For me, by the way. Yeah, he deserved man at match.
Dallo, we've seen people say he hasn't had enough chance, hadn't had a big enough chance in the Man United shirt. But I personally believe he has. We've seen him many times before, and against teams where he should be dominant, should be defensively secure, and go and doing his thing attacking. He's not that great. He's not that great of a defender. And in the Premier League, I don't think he can get away with it. And it's not even like he's not tearing it up in AC Milan either. It's not like he's there starting right back.
It is cover. And would you rather, you say, bring him in as a backup and go and get a proper CDM or maybe a proper centre back, as opposed to spend that money on
Prime.
Yeah, but
Max Aarons and then take that chunk away?
But the question, but that wasn't the question.
Personally, we've already got Max Aarons. He's called Ethan Laird. We've got a player in that mold already called Ethan Laird. He's out on loan. He's doing well for MK Dons. He's had some good games. It's very important to them when he plays. I'm not saying I'm not suggesting he's ready to play now, but I would rather us go out, send Laird on loan, send Williams on loan or sell him, sell the loan and use that money that we get from those three players there to bring in an experienced right back like we did with Tellers and Luke Shaw. I'm not looking for a Max Aarons because we've already got one. You know what I mean? For me personally, we've already got one coming through. We need an experienced right back who can come in. It was different to Wan-Bissaka, who can go a bit more forward, but is also defensively solid in that position because the amount of one-on-one defending that Aaron Wan-Bissaka has to do, that is my main priority in our fullback position.
Me personally, as a rival, Man United are dangerous. I think if you buy a proper CDM, so if it's Rice or Ndidi, and if that's the only big business that you do, I think you'll be dangerous next season.
Can you imagine?
I don't think a centre back is necessarily a priority. Sancho as a right winger, if you don't get him in the summer, I don't necessarily think it's a big deal. I think just a CDM frees you guys up so much, and you guys will be dangerous.
Yeah, it's an interest. Listen, I understand the right back cover thing, as we say. The low for me is a no. Again, the low for me, no one even kept. Like, I've been on the social scene forever, and when he was playing, all I ever saw was him getting slagged off when he was playing. I feel like hang on, it should be 1-1. Oh, he misses a sitter. Do you know? Is it Brahmi?
Oh no, but Ben Rama.
Yeah. Bang average. I've seen him in West Ham so much. I just don't. Honestly, he just missed an absolute sitter.
I trade him for Dan James any day of the week. Though, I don't care.
Oh yeah, listen, but the level. I've
for Dan James.
Sorry, yeah, that's his name. But I forgot his name. Just that's how bad he is. Don't know his name. But yeah, I feel like with the low, the reason why I saw a lot of the United fans I saw love off the low tended to be staunch Ollie outers, and AWB has been a success story. So if there's a success story that's associated to Ollie, that I always find people are out there trying to discredit it. Look at Paul Pogba, not Paul Pogba. Look at Bruno as another example. It should get nothing but praise. I've never seen a striker who, by the way, has 44 goal contributions in 54 games this season, and people still doubt him. I believe that if he would have been a Jose signing or an LVG signing, everyone would love him. It's because it's the Ollie.
Bruno,
yeah, Bruno. Yeah, it's the Ollie association that people they don't want to be because if AWB seen as a success, then you have to credit Ollie, and nobody wants to credit him with anything. And I'm not putting you in that category. I'm just saying like the weird Ollie outers that are always against him. So I think the low agenda. Oh, he should be playing. He should be here. I sat there reading it all in the summer, and I was like, why? When every time he played, it just trended at how bad a defender he was. Mm-hmm. There's no evidence from any of these like Twitter accounts, bloggers, vloggers. Show me your catalog content where you were telling us how good he was before AWB took over. You lot were screaming out for a better right back because you said he wasn't good. And suddenly it was, but he does some step over, so he's great. It was all because as well, so on top of the Ollie thing, it's when we went through this little 6-month trend of like the only thing we cared about fullbacks doing was attacking. Have you noticed that? Because Trent and
Can't
Robert
defend.
effectively have had average seasons on a creative level compared to normal, suddenly everybody stopped talking about how important it is to have fullbacks that are amazing attackers and are like playmakers. It's suddenly out of fashion, and it's how good is your fullback at defending? And that's why I would always pick AWB, and I'd always pick Reece James over Trent, because at some point we were always going to go back to focusing on the fundamentals of a fullback, and that's their defensive ability, and they're clear. And for me, I don't care how much better Delo is going forward compared to AWB. He can't hold a candle to him defensively. It's ridiculous.
I remember there's a point where I was saying, I'd rather Delo right wing and right mid than I would him at right back.
I was there too. Yeah.
So this is the thing. Delo is a right wing.
Ollie tried that too.
Yeah, and we tried, and Delo is a right wing back. He's the greatest right wing back as well. No.
I agree with Malik in the sense of AWB looked awkward. So it makes you
laugh so much.
It makes people think he's worse than he is. But when you say we need a technically good right back, I'm absolutely fine with that. But he has to be as good or better at defending than AWB. Because imagine bringing in a fullback who controls the ball better, dribbles the ball better, looks better in possession, but can't defend as well. That's
we've already seen that happen this season with Alex Tellers. I'm just pointing it out there.
That's the thing. That's a regressive move. It's like turning around, and I've said this before. It's like bringing in a number 10 who's got a better touch and a better technique and looks better than Bruno Fernandes, but scores half the amount of goals and creates half the amount of goals he does. It's counterproductive. It doesn't help you. It's such a strange thing that people would want that, Malik. And I know I just, for me, I agree with you as long as they're a better defender than AWB.
And that's not me slagging off Alex Tellers. I love Mr. Whippy, fam. I calling him the ice cream man. You know what I'm saying?
I think Wan-Bissaka's technicals, in my opinion, are actually getting better. I think he's got better this season.
They are. He just
the season, I would have upgraded him, but now I'm seeing enough from him, definitely going forward, to just leave him there. I don't think he's getting better and better. I don't think he's ever going to be that aesthetically pleasing in terms of technicals, but he's definitely getting better enough, in my opinion, now to say, yeah, that's your position, mate, and you look after it.
Mm-hmm. He's just funny to listen. Him and Eric Bailly are two footballers where if you just watch them, they will they have you in stitches. Because how do their bodies work? How do their bodies work? It shouldn't work like that, but it does. I love them both for that reason.
There's a comment here that says, disagree again, Terry. AWB one-on-one defending is great. Positionally, he is suspect. In the air, suspect. Do you know what? I agree.
My guy Chris, by the way.
Yeah, in the air, his positioning when it comes to being in the air, I agree with. His positioning in general defending, I think, is pretty good. But we have to understand, he's 21 years, 21, maybe 22 years of age. Central defenders in general don't find their peak years until 25, 26. It's what I consider an experienced position where when you're an attacker, you can be raw and make mistakes, but it invariably doesn't cost your team because you can miss 3 or 4 chances and score the 4th, and it's great. When you're a defender, all your flaws and problems are exposed. I think by the time AWB is, I want to actually check how old he actually is before I say it.
22.
It's actually 23. I think that
23 now.
Yeah, I think he must have only just turned 23. I'm going to check that. He was 23. It was actually 23 in November. I think by the time he hits about 25, so another year to 18 months time, you will start to see those mistakes move away from him. You'll start to see him improve. He will be one of the best right backs in world football in 18 months, 2 years' time. And I get why people want better, but my question is, who's attainable, who's better at defending and better technically than him that we can get? Like legitimately, who is? And show me the names, because for me, it's like the Rashford debate all over again. When you start breaking it down, there are very few. I had someone over there, but Neymar, are we not going to get him? Do you know what I mean? It's like Reece James, not going to get him. Lamptey, the jury's still out whether he's a better defender for me, because what you've also got to be able to prove is that he can handle the high line defending where they're exposed, because the one-on-one defending happens a lot when you play for a top 6 team and you attack. When you're at a lesser team that's more compact, you're rarely having one-on-one defensive situations.
While we're talking about defenders, can we just spend 5 minutes talking about David De Gea, please?
Why?
I want to talk about David De Gea. I know he's not playing today, but I just think after watching,
I got to shoot, boys. It's Mother's Day here.
Yeah, catch you. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah,
yeah. Go on. Yeah, what
I just think I watched him on Europa League, and between him and Cavani, they're the reasons we're in the final. I mean, he really rolled back the years at that match, and I just think I think it's been driven by Samuel Lockhurst, and there's rumours from Mark Goldbridge, and I'm not saying I believe everything they say before people start shooting me, but there's rumours that there's been a few players in the dressing room pushing for Dean Henderson to be given the number 1 spot and David De Gea to go. And then there's the other part of it that's apparently David De Gea wants to leave because obviously he's just had his child. And if that is the reason, then you have to shake his hand and let him go. But if we're getting rid of him because people genuinely think that Dean Henderson's ready, I disagree. And I think David De Gea is 30. That's not old for a keeper. We all know that. And like I say, I just think he's had a good. I don't think he's been amazing this season, but I think he's had a good, solid season. I don't particularly remember any howlers from David De Gea this season. I know the last 2 seasons, he's been poor, but this season I think he's reinstated, and me anyway, the confidence in him to say, you know what, you're still man. And it's for me, and I don't know if it's loyalty out of love for him, but for me, he still warrants the number 1 jersey for me. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on that.
I don't mind if De Gea stays or goes, really, to be completely honest. I feel like there's times where in football careers you should know when it's time for someone to go and move on and maximize the amount of money that you can get for a player. We're in this point with David De Gea where no one is sure if he can rekindle his form like Manuel Neuer did a couple of seasons ago, or if he's actually on the decline and he's actually going to get worse from here. No one knows that yet. So for me, it's like, this is an ample opportunity to sell someone on that unknown, because someone could believe that they could, as a club, they can be the one to resurrect David De Gea. You know what I mean? So that would cost us 50 million. Whereas if we stick with him and he does get worse, he's on 350k a week. Getting rid of him would be difficult.
But the reason I jumped to his defence, right, is because there was like two or three seasons where literally he kept us relevant, and like, he's a Premier League winner. He's a Premier League winner in our team.
He is. Johnny, I get. Look, with your stories, that the Sam Lockhurst thing I get, when you mention Mark Goldbridge, and I mean this with the utmost respect, who's Mark Goldbridge's source? Because Mark Goldbridge is a YouTuber, a very good YouTuber, but his stories are just what he reads in papers like the rest of us. So my point is, where's he read it? Who's it from? I've heard rumors that players have asked Dean Henderson to be the number 1, but it isn't about disrespecting De Gea. It's that the defenders in front of him feel that Dean Henderson is more vocal and commands the area, and they just feel safer playing in front of him than they do De Gea. And that's the biggest criticism De Gea has had from fans for many years, is not being commanding in the box. His communication, distribution isn't where it needs to be, and this leads to certain problems. As a shot stopper, he's better than Henderson, and probably always will be better than Henderson, because David De Gea's shot-stopping abilities have been beyond the elite forever. In my opinion, he's been the best shot stopper of the last 10 years. There's no doubt. So, but you have to, I think the way it gets twisted is people are out to get David De Gea, as opposed to,
why though?
They're not, though. They're not. That's how the media are twisting it and manipulating you, in my opinion. What the players are looking for potentially here is what you're asking for in the Rashford situation. They don't care who the name is of the person starting. They want the best and most informed people that make the team most balanced to play, because they want Manchester United to win. And if De Gea is also looking at going home and is homesick, that's another factor.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I just don't think it's something. And by the way, again, most Ollie outers I know were the biggest. They were calling for David De Gea for 2 years to be dropped for mistakes and not being good enough anymore. As soon as Ollie does it, they suddenly start defending David De Gea and acting like he's being mistreated. And I can't help but just say the word agenda. It feels to me like everything Ollie does gets twisted into bad. They just try and find a negative for Ollie within it. And Lockhurst is that.
I was one of them, last year. I'll be honest right now. I know I'm only out. I was one of them last year that was calling for David De Gea at one point to be dropped. I'll be honest now, I was, because there was a time when he should have been dropped. He should have been taken out of firing line, let his mental state recover, go sort yourself out, come back, take 2 months off. There was a time when that was the right decision to do, and Ollie didn't do that.
But Johnny, guess who the number 2 was back then?
Romero.
In my eyes, you still played. yes, Romero is a good backup, and he's been a good backup for years. The way that the club are dealing with him right now, I'm not really a fan of. But Ollie chose his number one because he didn't feel Romero was good enough to keep that spot. Now we've got a player in Dean Henderson who, in my eyes, has done nothing wrong. He has not been worse than the head of the season at all to come in and challenge him. They've swapped roles and he's taken over. And now I've seen people come for Henderson like he's the worst goalkeeper in the league, and people don't like, and he's not doing good.
And what I would say as well, just to add on to that as well, I think we need to be very, very careful. One of my biggest criticisms of the Glazonomic era towards the end of Fergie's career is us not replacing Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, Gary Neville, Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, Evra, Wayne Rooney to a degree, Michael Carrick, and even Van Persie. We never replaced any of those players ahead of time. So we should have cashed in or not renewed on all those players before they passed their best. That's what Man United always used to do. So it's a case of, right, Rio's at his peak, but he's 31. He's going to be, he's got 2 or 3 years left. Who's the next best? We should have been signing Vincent Kompany's. We should have been signing Ruben Diaz's. We should have been signing the Laporte was linked. I know he hasn't been as good this season. When it first, we were linked with players of that ilk and that level for many. We should have signed Van Dijk 10 years ago. We should have done, but we didn't because we weren't prepared to spend the money. The planning was awful, especially since the Fergie era. When I look at this situation, the reason I bring that up is this. No one knows how good Dean Henderson is going to be at the elite level until he's given an opportunity to be at the elite level. What would also go against Ollie is if he's stuck with David De Gea, David De Gea doesn't get back to his best and remains good but not amazing. Henderson leaves and went to Chelsea and becomes a Premier League superstar. We'd say, how did you let him go? How did you not see that he was going to be brilliant? There comes a point where you have to go, right, we've got to give this young academy player who's very promising an opportunity. If it doesn't work, you cash in and you buy someone better. But imagine you go and drop £80 million on a world-class goalie, but then you've got one in your academy that goes on to be an absolute superstar. You have to give him game time. And there's nothing. There's been a couple of moments from Henderson where he's looked a little bit rash. The goal against Sheffield United for messing around on it. I think it was a game of a week or so ago. I want to say it was against Newcastle, but might be wrong. Where he rushed out.
Burnley, where he got called off offside.
There are a few moments where I've got, but that's the learning curve for him. But overall, he's commanded the box. He's made good saves. We've not barely any of the goals have been. He isn't like he's been soft on goals. His fault as such. So I sort of think he's done well. Why not give him an opportunity? What I do see a lot is this phrase though, is overhyped Englishman. He's getting an opportunity because he's English. No, he's getting an opportunity because he's an academy player of Manchester United. If he was Spanish
who last year was considered one of the best goalkeepers in the league, and many people were calling him to come back and challenge De Gea again. Now that he's done it, apparently there's an issue with it. This is what I don't get.
On top of that, we all sit here and praise how good Chelsea's recruitment system is, scouting system is, who they buy. They wanted to buy him. They wanted to buy him. Listen, it's been a great conversation today. I really enjoyed it, gents. It's been really, really good. Everyone who's tuned in, all of the callers, all of the super chatters. My man of the match. It could only be one person today. I know AWB was good. I know Bruno scored a goal. Pogba was great. But I'm giving it to young Mason Greenwood. If you guessed Mason Greenwood, you were going to go into the prize draw to win a football shirt of your choice. We're doing that at the end of the month. Thank you very much, my guy here, for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace as well. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless.